आपकी इंजीनियर मोहम्मद अली मिर्जा से क्यों लड़ाई रहती है और तकरार रहती है? कई क्लिप्स में हमें नजर आया, देखने को मिलता है, यूट्यूब पे भी बेशुमार वीडियोस पड़ी हुई हैं। इसकी क्या कोई खास वजह है कि मोहब्बत ऐसी है?
नहीं नहीं सर, मेरी लड़ाई सिर्फ नेतन्याहू की फिलॉसफी से है।
क्या पाकिस्तान को इसराइल को तस्लीम कर लेना चाहिए? जी, जब इसराइल फलस्तीन की अलग रियासत को तस्लीम कर ले तो अगला सूरज भी तुलू नहीं होना चाहिए, हमारा झगड़ा उनसे खत्म हो जाएगा।
And I remain committed to a vision of peace, of two states for two peoples.
पहले तो मैं इस हक में था कि टू स्टेट सोल्यूशन हो, लेकिन अब तो टू स्टेट सोल्यूशन वाले मामले से भी हम गए।
Look, the two-state solution that people talk about is basically would be the greatest reward for the terrorists that you can imagine. 80% of Palestinians in Gaza and in Judea, Samaria, and the West Bank support the savagery.
अब बेहतर यह है कि इन मुसलमानों को मुआखाद की जाए, दूसरे अरब मुल्क इनको अपने मुल्कों में पनाह दें। कितने सारे फिलिस्तीनी हैं?
Countries that might be amenable and are amenable to accepting Palestinians of their free choice if they choose to go there. And I think that's the second thing that we discussed.
About some countries, I won't go into them right now. They're saying, you know, if Gazans want to leave, we want to take them in. And I think this is the right thing to do.
सारे भी मिला लें 80 लाख के करीब बनते हैं, 8 मिलियन।
How many people are you thinking about?
All of them. I mean, we're talking about probably 1,000,007 people, 1,000,007, maybe 1,000,008. But I think all of them. I think they'll be resettled in areas where they can live a beautiful life and not be worried about dying every day.
मेरी लड़ाई सिर्फ नेतन्याहू की फिलॉसफी से है।
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي
So the whole Arabic, Muslim, Islamic world is sort of behind the Palestinians, behind Gaza, and supports them. Why are they not helping them? Why are they not taking in the Palestinian refugees? I don't understand it. But why don't they take in the 2 million refugees into their own country?
अब बेहतर ये है कि इन मुसलमानों को मुआखाद की जाए, दूसरे अरब मुल्क इनको अपने मुल्कों में पनाह दें।
अरब मुसलमानों को चाहिए कि वो उनको दरवाजे खोलें और फलस्तीनियों को निकाल के उधर पहुंचा दें। ये तरीका, ये नैरेटिव बिल्डिंग का तरीका आपको खुद नहीं पता आपका क्या काम है इस वक्त, उनका क्या काम है, छोड़ दें। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूं फलस्तीन को क्या करना चाहिए, मैं पाकिस्तानी स्पीकर से कह रहा हूं कि ये बेशर्मी नहीं करनी चाहिए। बलोचिस्तान वालों को चाहिए, अली भाई बलोचिस्तान छोड़ दें, आप दरवाजा खोलें जेलम का, बलोचिस्तान और पारा चनार वालों को अपने घर घुसाएं। बलोचिस्तान में जितने मसले हो रहे हैं केपीके वालों को जेलम बुलाएं प्लीज। मुसलमान पाकिस्तानी यहाँ पे बैठा बता रहा है कि उनको तो घर छोड़ के भाग जाना चाहिए। ये मुसलमान कह रहे हैं कि हाँ खैर हमारे बच्चे मर गए, इनके हमारे का लफ्ज नहीं लगाया इन्होंने आज तक। कभी इनमें से किसी ने बोला हमारे बच्चे फलस्तीन? अगर गलती से इन्होंने बोल दिया तब वहां से वाला क्लिप पकड़ लें। सर आपने तो उनको हमारे एक बोला था, ये वाला रूल जेलम पे क्यों नहीं लगाते आप? फिर बलोचिस्तान पे, पारा चनार पे, केपीके पे, बाजोड़ पे क्यों नहीं लगाते रूल?
दूसरे अरब मुल्क इनको अपने मुल्कों में पनाह दें।
But why don't they take in the 2 million refugees into their own country?
Because they're Palestinians and that's their land. They don't want to leave. As a German, you don't want to leave Germany and move into Poland.
It's a Palestinian land, and Palestinians have the right to decide what they want and need from this land.
بالله يا راجل الواحد بالمفروض يضحي بدمه عشان يضل بقلب ارضه. لو بنموت انا ما هذه بلادنا، الغريب هو اللي يطلع، احنا بنطلع.
هذه ارضنا ووطننا واحنا صامدين فيها باذن الله.
وهذه ارض فلسطين، فلسطين هي بلد اهل فلسطين من الابد الابد، وما بنقدر نطلع منها مهما يكون نقدرش نطلع منها.
In fact, they want their land back. That's what Hamas is all about.
80% of Palestinians in Gaza and in Judea, Samaria, and the West Bank support the savagery.
And this is why I'm so agnostic on this issue, because I am not very sure about certain historical facts.
ग्राउंड रियलिटी ये है कि मुसलमानों की बका इस वक्त इसी में है कि किसी तरीके से दो रियासती हल हो जाए, क्योंकि वो पावर में आ चुके हैं।
The United States believed for a long time that it had a solution, and many American leaders still believe there is a solution. It's the two-state solution. In other words, divide the land, divide Greater Israel, give the Palestinians a viable state of their own. This is the two-state solution.
This is not a viable solution. You've said so yourself. This is not going to happen.
That's right. But why is it not a viable solution?
Well, probably because Israelis don't want to give them their land.
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
I recognize that.
Well, if they don't give them their land, you can then expect the Palestinians to fight back.
Okay, I understand this, and I totally understand. I understand that when you're a young person in Gaza and you've seen your family be killed by an IDF attack or what, I understand it completely. I just wonder for how long do we want to continue this conflict?
Whose way?
Well, I mean, it's not only. Well, it's not only.
It's for how long do the Palestinians want to continue to resist, and for how long do the Israelis want to continue?
Well, it's not just between Israel and the Palestinians, is it? There's obviously a global community that is involved.
The global community is largely ineffectual because of the United States. You pointed out that Steve Walt and I wrote this book. The United States basically supports Israel.
But that's why I'm saying there's other countries involved. It's not just Israel and the resistance in Gaza.
Yeah, but the country that's involved that matters is the United States, and it's joined at the hip with Israel. It does basically what Israel wants. We wanted a two-state solution. It's just very important to understand that. Every president from Jimmy Carter forward was deeply committed to creating a two-state solution. We could not get a two-state solution because Israel had little interest, and the lobby went to great lengths to undermine the pressure that any American president put on Israel to move to a two-state solution. You ended up with an apartheid state. And when you have an apartheid state where you have, roughly an equal number of Palestinians and Israeli Jews living inside it, the dominated group is going to revolt. And there are other centrifugal forces at play inside the country as well. So this is a country that's in real trouble. And again, American presidents wanted to help solve this problem a long time ago by moving to a two-state solution. But the Israelis thought that they could beat the Palestinians into submission or keep them under control. And they were wrong.
अगर हम यूएनओ की करारदादों को नहीं मानेंगे, दो रियासती हल तो यूएनओ ने दिया हुआ है, तो फिर कश्मीर के केस में भी इंडिया फिर ठीक कह रहा है कि यूएनओ की जो करारदादें हैं हम उनको नहीं मानते। अगर हम इंडिया को उस स्टांस पे लाना चाहते हैं, फिर हमें भी यूएनओ की करारदादों का एहतराम करना होगा। सारी मुस्लिम दुनिया को इसराइल को तस्लीम भी करना पड़ता है, तो कोई घाटे का सौदा नहीं है। कम से कम वहां पे सुकून आ जाएगा। फिर पॉलिटिकल स्ट्रगल करें, अपने मामलात को आगे लेके चले। अमेरिका उनको आम हालत में भी $40 अरब हर साल का बजट देता है। इस एक जंग के लिए $100 अरब उन्होंने दे दिया और जदीद असला है उनके पास। और असले के बगैर तो आप इस तरीके से जंग जीत नहीं सकते हैं। ये सिर्फ आप लोगों को एक जज्बाती तौर पे कहें कि जी अल्लाह ताला आपकी मदद करेगा। अल्लाह ताला ने मामलात को असबाब के साथ जोड़ा है। कुरान में भी है कि आपने असबाब को साथ लेके जाना है, फिर मुसब्बिबुल असबाब के ऊपर नजर रखनी है। कहीं ये नहीं आया कि आप 100 दफा दुरूद ही पढ़ेंगे तो आपका पेट भर जाएगा, या 100 दफा सुभान अल्लाह कहने से आपकी प्यास खत्म हो जाएगी। आपने अपनी एफर्ट तो पुट करनी है। उनके पास टेक्नोलॉजी इस वक्त लेटेस्ट है, हमारे पास F-16 वो भी कुछ बीच में जाया हो गए, और उनके भी हमारे पास पूरे पुर्जे भी नहीं है। वो हम उसकी ओवरहालिंग के लिए भी डिपेंडेंट है अमेरिका के ऊपर। ठीक है, चंद एक तो बीच में से तबाह भी हो चुके हैं, चंद एक रह गए हैं। उनके पास F-35 है। मैं इसको कहता हूं 16 दूनी 32 3 जमा करो 35। और वो F-35 जो है ना, उसको रनवे की भी जरूरत नहीं, वो ऐसे उड़ता है और ऐसे लैंड करता है। लोग कहते हैं जी ISPR सख्त स्टेटमेंट दे। क्या स्टेटमेंट दे कि एटम बम फेंक देंगे इसराइल के ऊपर? यहूदी बुरे नहीं लगते एज कंपेयर टू हिंदुओं के। इस्लाम ने इजाजत दी है कि यहूदो नसारा की औरतों से निकाह भी तुम कर सकते हो, हाँ अपनी बच्चियां नहीं उनको दे सकते। और लोगों के बच्चों को इसराइल भेज रहे थे, फलानी जगह भेज रहे थे, इसराइल आ गया रहते हो इंडिया के बॉर्डर पे।
No, I won't keep my agnostic view on Israel and Gaza because I do understand that what's happening is unfair. It's not just, right? Like you can't just go about killing tens of thousands.
The genocide is more than unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, genocide is a red line.
I am a little afraid to even use these words because, you can get in trouble comparing things and...
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But that's the power of the lobby.
One of the many objectives that Sahil Adeem is trying to achieve is creating a Muslim blockchain. He won't just go on repeating his locked objectives randomly everywhere out of the fear of Riyakari. It's for those who are always just tongue and no hands.
You know what a blockchain is? Blockchain is when the right in a certain system by invite only certain number of people come together for whatever reason. That's called a blockchain. Well, I'm trying to create a Muslim blockchain. But you need Melbourne for that, you need New York for that, you need England for that.
The Awakening Tour is all about invoking the Muslim identity and reviving the original definitions of Islam, as well as creating a Muslim blockchain.
As long as all of these people are coming up together, you have yourself a blockchain. They're going to call it a lobby, we're going to call it a blockchain, even though they work the same way.
Sahil Adeem has been mocked by pseudo-intellectuals, for they cannot even imagine, let alone comprehend, what he's trying to achieve. He's literally going all over the world to connect Muslims and gather them on a purpose, which is written in Holy Quran, by describing it with the simplest and most rational presentation.
How is lobbying done? Well, same kind of people with the same kind of purpose in more amount of numbers. That's called a lobby. I don't call it a lobby because lobby is a smaller structure of power. Blockchain is a very big structure of power. I need 4 objectives from you. 4 objectives पूरे करने के लिए हमें blockchain create करनी जरूरी है. Those 4 objectives are financial independence, political independence, moral independence, and mental independence. Unless you have a blockchain, you're not going to be able to get that. Now, whenever we say, oh, you know what, Israel is going through this and that, what's going on? How is it even possible? Everybody says, oh, they got a strong lobby, man. Well, of course they have a lobby, even though they have 1% of our numbers. But they have 10 million times more the lobbies. Unless you create these, yeah, you're right. One girl, one boy is not going to be able to. वो बेचारा मारा ही जाएगा. मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ आपको. 2 generations later, Baria's grandkids are not even going to call themselves Muslims. अगर हम इसी path पे चले जो आप चल रहे हैं. No amount of Muslim YouTube scholars are going to save them. Okay, belief system is at its worst right now. We are just licking our own beliefs, literally, because they're dying.
Right. See, the lobby goes to great lengths to control the discourse.